Okay, we are moving right along. We are on lesson 6.6, which is our very last part of probability. So you've made it. The end is here. Okay. And we're going to talk about the fundamental counting principle. So if you need to find the probability of multiple things happening at one time, this is like, I think of it like a little shortcut. Okay, so we're going to say that I can use the fundamental counting principle, I'm just going to abbreviate it, to find compound probability. Okay, remember that compound probability is the probability of multiple things happening at one time. Okay, so if you're rolling 2 dice, what's the probability that the first one is a 6 and the second one is a 1? Okay, so multiple things at once, 2 dice being rolled at the same time. Okay, so like I said, it's called the fundamental counting principle. And to get the total number of outcomes, you're going to multiply the number of options for each event together. Okay? So to get the probability, you're going to take the probability of each individual event and multiply those probabilities together. Okay? So here we have the options at a sandwich shop. For bread, you have Italian or whole wheat. For protein, there's ham, turkey, roast beef. For cheese, you can choose cheddar, provolone. And for veggies, you can choose lettuce, tomato, peppers, or jalapeno. And we could sit here and say, okay, there's Italian, ham, cheddar, lettuce. Or they could choose Italian, ham, cheddar, tomato, ham, cheddar, peppers, ham, cheddar, jalapeno, right? We could sit there and do that. Well, it's going to take us a long time. So, instead, to find the total number of choices, you're going to take the number of bread choices, there's 2, times the number of protein choices, 3, there's 2 cheese choices times the number of veggie choices, 4. So to get the total number of combinations, we're just going to multiply those all together. 2 times 3 times 2 times 4 is 48. So there's 48 different sandwich combinations. This is what Sonic does when they're like, there's 500,000 different drink combinations you can make at Sonic. This is what they're doing. They take the number of choices for each option, size, flavor, fruit add-in, flavor add-in, drink. They multiply all the numbers of options together, okay? So this says, find the probability that a customer chooses ham and jalapenos, okay? So we're going to take the probability of ham. One of the options is ham out of 3 options total. And you're going to multiply it by the probability of jalapeno. One of the options is jalapeno time over 4 options for veggies total. So we just took the individual probability of that thing happening, multiplied it by the individual probability of the other thing, gives us the probability of both of them combined. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 4 is 12. So there's a 1 in 12 chance that a customer will choose both ham and jalapeno. Okay. All right. This one, you're spinning this spinner and you're rolling a die. Okay. So we want to know, what is the probability that the die lands on an even and the spinner lands on 5? So the probability of even and 5, we're going to take the probability of an even number on a die times the probability of 5 on the spinner. Okay? So the probability of an even number on the die, there's 1, 2, 3 out of 6 total options for the die, times, over here on the spinner, the number 5 shows up once, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces on the spinner. So now I'm just going to multiply. 3 times 1 is 3, over 6 times 8 is 48. And you can reduce that. You can divide these both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 48 divided by 3 is 16. Or, to recap, we can write that as a decimal by taking 1 divided by 16, which is 0.0625. Multiply it by 100 to make it a percentage, which is 6.25%. Okay? All right, so this one. What is the probability that the die lands on a 2 and the spinner lands on a number greater than 3? So we're looking for the probability of 2 and a number greater than 3. Well, on a die, there's one side that has a 2 out of 6 sides total, times, on the spinner, we're looking for numbers bigger than 3, 5, 7, 4, 6, 8. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options on the spinner out of 8 total spaces. Now we're just going to multiply across. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 times 8 is 48. 5 and 48 do not share anything. So you could leave it there. Or to change it to a decimal, 5 divided by 48 is 0.104166 and a bunch of sixes. Multiply it by 100. And we'll just round it there to make it a percent. Okay? So start as fractions, multiply the fractions, and then change it to a decimal or a percent. All right, let's look at the practice. All right, so I'll get you started on a couple of these. So here we are at Bob and Johnny's ice cream shop, and there's 3 flavors. There's 1, 2, 3 toppings and 2 sprinkle options. So to get the total number of outcomes, you're going to take the number of options times each other. So you're going to do 3 times 3 times 2 is 18. Okay. I'm going to let you do this one, and I'll do this one on your own. What is the probability of strawberry, fudge, star, and sprinkles? We're going to take the probability of strawberry times the probability of fudge times the probability of star. Okay, so one of the options is strawberry over 3 flavor options total times, for toppings, one of the options is fudge over 3 total toppings times one of the options is stars over 2 sprinkle options. Okay? So we're going to take 1 times 1 times 1, which is just 1, over 3 times 3 times 2. It's 18. To make it a decimal, I'm going to take the top number, 1, divided by the denominator of 18. Then I'm going to multiply that by 100 to make it a percentage, because it asks it for a percent. rounded to the nearest tenth. That's one number after the decimal. So here's my decimal, one number. Look next door, that's 5 or bigger, so we add one more. The 5 we underlined becomes a 6. Okay? So I'll let you do the other ones. So for the total possible outcomes, you're going to take the number of choices, the number of possible outcomes for each thing. So like this one, the number of outcomes for flipping a coin and the number of outcomes for spinning the spinner. Multiply them together. To get the probability, you take the probability of each individual event, so the probability that it lands on heads, times the probability that it lands on 1, for example. Okay? So there you go. You got this. Don't forget about the fractions. Okay? You're going to be okay. Have a great day. Bye!